What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight. Okay, I'm sure there's an explanation for this. I'm sure there is. I don't know what it is. But we've had Leander on the channel, but we've never had this. I'm sure there's some correlation here. I'm sure there is. And hopefully that will be explained in the comments. It would be nice. But as it stands right now, we've never had this band on the channel before. So, officially here, sure, we'll go with it. Making their debut on the channel tonight. We have Leander Rising. Yes, indeed. How about that? Leander Rising making their debut on the channel. Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to doing all of the clicks and the likes and the bibbity bop, do me a favor before you do all that stuff. Please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to actually earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, you still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. This comes as a request from Daniel Hune, and Daniel wanted to see me react to this is Leander Rising with a tune, and I'm gonna butcher this, I know I am, I'm gonna give it a shot, with a tune called Szerelmes Dal. Now, have I heard this song before? No, I have not. To the best of my knowledge, this does not resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. However, there's always a possibility I may have heard this song in passing and I just don't realize it. So as always, if I start listening to the song and I suddenly go, wait a second, I recognize this song, I'll let you know.
That's the truth.
You know me, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like I said, I've had Leander on the channel, but I've never had Leander Rising on the channel. Now, is there a correlation between the two? Is, Leander Rising, maybe they're an offshoot, maybe they're a side project. I don't know. So y'all can do me a favor in the comments. Let me know. Number one, is there a correlation between Leander and Leander Rising, or are they just two completely different bands, two completely different entities with two completely different sets of members? That's a possibility too. Or there is some sort of correlation between the two. I don't know. So if y'all could do me a favor in the comments, let me know. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's see, this was posted by Leander Rising, all right? And the video has 519,000 views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. Leander Rising. I know I'm butchering this, so forgive me, folks. Szerelmes Dal. Sure, why not? All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
Fortsätter inte vänta din varg. Med en väderstring fortsatt både
Nice, thick, crunchy guitar tone, along with some very nice subdivision work. Very clean playing, especially when they're playing in their unison lines. They got that really tight picking for when they're playing in unison, which I'm really digging. Those syncopated parts. It's not dirty. It's clean. It's accurate. It sounds good. Drumming, very nicely done. Some really nice variety being demonstrated when it comes to playing with feel, straight time, double time, half time. On top of that, they got the that one section that we heard where they got the sextuplets going on the double time feel within the kick drum. That was tight. It was well done. It was clean. So, gotta give credit where credit's due. The bass, if I'm being honest, getting a little buried in the mix, a little hard to hear. I wish it was up in the mix just a little bit more. I know it's there. I can feel its presence, but I can't really hear anything as far as defined notes. So, I'm still looking. I'm still searching. I know it's there. I can feel the low end being present. The thing that's really kind of impressing me the most about this is the vocal work. The blending of the grit and growl vocal along with, at the exact same time, melodic singing. And there's 3 layers. You have the grit and growl vocal. On top of the grit and growl vocal, you have the main melodic line being sung as the main melodic vocal line, not as part of the grit and growl vocal. No, it's stacked. They're stacked. And on top of that, you have a harmonic vocal line as well. So you have the grit and growl vocal blending with melodic singing. You don't hear that very often. It's not something that is commonly practiced, which is a shame, because when you do it right and you don't try to layer the melodic singing into, this is what a lot of bands will try to do. You got the grit and growl vocal, and they will try to stick the melodic singing into the grit and growl vocal line, and it doesn't work. It does not work. When you stack them and keep them separate, it works really well, as long as it's mixed well and balanced well. You don't have one overtaking the other. It's a nice blend. It's very cohesive. I mean, it is blending and sticking to each other very well. And it's very pleasing to the ear. I like what they're doing with the vocals. I think the vocals are honestly my favorite part of this whole presentation so far. So hopefully they keep this trend up, because I'm really liking what I'm hearing. Let's finish this out and we'll get to the review. guitar solo. Sounds good. Good arpeggiation. I like that, bringing it down. Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's really a whole lot to talk about. I think we covered pretty much everything during the reaction. So this is gonna probably be a pretty short review. We'll see. We'll see where the winds take us, but I don't see this being long. So let me get my thoughts together. Let me make sure I didn't forget anything or miss anything. I'll see you in the review, and we'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was Leander Rising with a tune, and I know I'm going to butcher this, so I'm just apologizing in advance. A tune entitled Szerelmes Dal. Okay, yeah, this is going to be short. I can guarantee you this is going to be a short review. It's going to be under 10 minutes. Guaranteed. So, maybe even less. Probably less. So, let's get to the score, and we'll go from there, shall we? On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that a 7.8. Yep, 7.8. I feel good about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Okay, first things first, a 7.8. What does that mean? Well, a 7.8 would translate to a really good skill rating because overall, I think this was a really good song. It would also get 4 to 5 stars and a B as in boy, B plus letter grade. Yeah, B plus. So there you go, a 7.8, really good skill rating, 4 to 5 stars, and a B plus letter grade. Now, how did I come up with that score? So glad you asked. Okay, from a songwriting standpoint, it's solid work. Sure, the chordal progressions all made sense. Everything flowed really well when it came to the chordal progressions. They made a good choice when it came to chordal selections to come up with a progression that flowed really well and was pleasing to the ear. I got no problems with it. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm blown away by anything that they selected or by the progressions they came up with, because I'm not. But at the same time, there's no complaint. There's nothing that sounded bad. There's nothing that sounded unsure. There's nothing that sounded out of place. There was nothing that sounded unsteady. Everything flowed really well, so I had no issues with it. Melodic line and harmonic line selection, same thing. All the notation that was selected for this, while I may not be blown away by it, it was pleasing to the ear, and it was solid work across the board. So again, no complaints. The guitar tone, I love the guitar tone on this. I mean, it had just the right amount of crunch, it had just the right amount of thickness, that it got the job done without becoming muddy, without becoming so distorted that you couldn't define notation. Or when they were doing their subdivision work, when they're doing their syncopation work, it never got so thick and so muddy and so crunchy that it became you didn't get the bleeding over effect. You know, it didn't blend from one notation to the other. It was very clearly defined and very clearly separated when they came to their syncopated subdivision work. So I had no issue with it whatsoever. I liked what I heard. Still, my only gripe was the bass. I couldn't really hear the bass clearly in the mix. There were a couple of times where I was able to find the bass, but it was hard. It was really hard to find. I could sense the bass. I could feel the bass in the mix, but I never actually heard clear, distinct notes, except for a couple of spots where I was able to pick it out. But I mean, other than that, though, it was just a presence. And I mean, it's at least we got that. At least we got that low end sense. But as a bassist, I would personally like to hear a little more bass in the mix. And looking at it objectively as well, I think they could have brought the bass up in the mix, and I don't think it would have hurt at all. So would have been nice to have it clearly defined. The drumming was one of the highlights. Okay, let's be honest here. The drummer absolutely tore it down in this song. Playing around with, brace yourselves, folks. We had straight time, we had half time, we had double time. We also had quadruple time, and we had quarter time. They were playing around with 5 different feels in this song, and they were very well defined too. I wasn't 100% sure until we got closer to the end of the song when I was like, no, that's not a mistake. That is not a subdivision thing. That is a defined quarter time. Wow. Okay. They were able to work it all in, all of those feels in, and that is. Listen, doing 3 is hard enough. You know, we're working 3 different feels into a song, you know, straight time, double time, half time. Getting those 3 and making it work smoothly, that's enough. But to be able to work in an additional 2 feels, that's, you got to give props to that drummer. You really do, because ultimately it's all the drummer. The drummer is the one who came up with those. It wasn't. The guitar and the bass, they didn't follow along. They were doing their own thing. So that is 100% on the drummer. Gotta give him props. The big thing for me on this song was the vocal work. The utilization of melodic singing mixed in and layered with grit and growl vocals, with that gravel voice style. That was cool, and they did it well. They didn't try to shove one into the other. No. They knew, listen, we got this gravel voice style. Let's layer melodic singing and harmonic singing on top of it. Not trying to shove it into one pocket. Let's put 3 layers in, and we'll blend them. And there's a big difference between trying to mix it all together and just layering and blending. There's a big difference, and you can hear it in the quality of the vocal delivery. I like what they did. I really do. There was melodic style singing through pretty much the entire song. Pretty much. There were a couple spots in the verses, in verse 1 and verse 2, where the grit and growl vocal was by itself. Okay, but it wasn't for very long before the melodic singing came in and blended with it. And then you had the harmonic singing on top of it. That was nice. That is something you don't hear very often. It's the best of both worlds. You satisfy those who like the grit and growl vocals, and you also satisfy those like myself who prefer melodic singing. You got the best of both worlds here. And I think they did a fine job of blending them without making one more important than the other. That is the trick. That is seriously the trick, because it's one thing to have both. It's another thing to have both and have one just be the dominant voice, while the other voicings are more of an afterthought. What they did here was make equally all 3 parts sound important, and that is not easy to do. So kudos to them for figuring that out. Listen, it's a really good song. I absolutely enjoyed this, and I will absolutely listen to this again without question. I have no idea what they're singing about. Quite frankly, I do not care. I was really digging the delivery and the musicality, the songwriting, the musicianship. I was digging everything about it. I honestly could care less what the song is about. I really do not care. I was just digging the song as a whole, and I will absolutely listen to this again without question. My only question is the whole thing with the name Leander, because I've done reactions to the band Leander. Now we have this band Leander Rising, and this is where I'm really going to need your help in the comments, folks. Is there a correlation? I asked this at the beginning. Seriously, in the comments, let me know. Is there some connection here? Is there some correlation here? Or are these two completely separate bands who have absolutely nothing to do with each other in any way, shape, or form? I would really appreciate it in the comments if y'all would let me know. But in any case, 7.8, I know that score is deceiving personally. On a personal level, I would score it higher. I absolutely would. I really enjoyed this song. But looking at the song objectively, I just can't, I don't have any ground to stand on to bring it up into the 8s or into the 9s. I just don't think it warrants it. So I liked it. I really liked it, actually. I thoroughly enjoyed the song. But I'm gonna stick with that really good score, 7.8. That's the score I feel the song deserves from an objective standpoint. So 7.8, that's where we're at, and that's where we're gonna stay. So let's wrap everything up here in a nice shiny bow, shall we? We have a 7.8, which is a really good scale rating, 4 out of 5 stars, and a B as in boy, B+ letter grade. Take your pick, I don't care, whichever one of those floats your boat. Final word, final score, I've spoken. Well, that's gonna do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hopefully I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, well then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for the night, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.